Anyway, turn that down. Hi, everybody. How are you all doing today? Happy Thursday. Happy near end of the day, Thursday. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Get the piece of paper off and ready to go for today. There we are. So today we can get cracking early today. We can jibber jabber while we prep. So what are we doing today? Well, it's fully an experiment. I don't know how well it will come out, but we'll see. The goal is to do a horizontal or landscape, ironically. Landscape. I'm gonna do a landscape. So the idea is to do I have a picture on handy? I don't, without going and digging, but you'll get the idea. Basically, sky up above. We'll probably pick a darker color on top, and then we'll fade a little bit as we go down. And then we'll do maybe like a faint mountain in the back, and then one really vibrant, rich, dark. I say vibrant, but just really, really strong colored foreground mountain. Maybe we'll the colors are still flexible for the most part, but some are not. So the goal of the mountain is to use lunar black and then maybe fade downwards into green. The undersea green next to it might be good because they're both granulating. The goal of this one is to do the whole like mountain landscape thing, but it's going to be granulating paints. So we're going to use the lunar black like we see here. Focus. There we go. And then this is undersea green. So the goal is to get some fun textures in the mountain and see what it does. And then everything else is kind of whatever makes sense. So we'll see how that goes. And oh wow, I'm already yawning. It's just because I'm talking. Sorry, I really let that the rest of that yawn out on mute. Um, the rest of the colors are kind of up for debate, but we're just gonna kind of go with the flow, I think. We'll see. And yeah, what I was gonna say is worst case scenario, if something doesn't pan out exactly the way we want, we'll just have to use another sheet of paper and try again, won't we? Shit. Since it's an experiment, failure is an option. It's always an option. I do want to tape this down well though, because the goal is to, if this comes out, for it to actually be really, really nice. So let me bring this downward a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I need some light and I need to look down upon this a little closer so I can get the tape lined up. Almost. Spot on. Okay. I think that will work. I'm actually using the proper sized thing to tape this paper down to today. Last time I taped it down to my cutting board, this size paper, and it was impossible to move. Well, not impossible, very difficult to move. I am off mute. I am good. Okay. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Who knows? I may not even talk a lot during all this. If someone comes in, we'll chit chat and say hi and all that, but I'll probably just get to it today. That, yeah, didn't look probably lined up, but all right. It was a good song. I put Simcha. Time in process. They couldn't find a vision proud of your abundance. Uh, no, Sunday and sad. Hey. Such a good song. All right. So thinking it through, turn her down. I think I'll do. So I'll do a kind of bluish on the top of the sky. I think I will fade downward and do maybe a slight yellow, but faint near the horizon. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Uh, but maybe what I'll do is I'll do it all the way down. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm going to go through and do a full wash on the whole page. I'll do a bluish on top. I'll work a yellow down, and then I'll fade it to nothing on the bottom. But I'll just complete it all the way. That way there's no like hard line where the color stops. So I'll do granulating bluish color on top, but obviously none of my yellows are granulating. So I'll just do a very faint amount of yellow, maybe a little orange, on its way down. And we'll let that dry or start making it dry and let it, once it's totally dry, then we can start putting a faint mountain in on like maybe one side, just a background one. And then once that's dry, we'll do our final really nice large mountain in the foreground. And that way the sky will be kind of shining through in the background. I think that'll be kind of nice. So everything is up where you can see it. I don't really need that light. Well, maybe in a bit I will. I'll leave it there for now. So let me get prepped. What am I going to do? So I've got a nice little wash brush here. It's a modeler brush, but it'll work. Let me go ahead and I don't need a lot of color. I'm going to be using Glitter Black. I'm going to use the Undersea Green here. For the blue, look at our granulating paint list. I do like this one. This is the Lunar Blue. So I think I might do a touch of that at the top. Do maybe a tiny bit of a blue. I think the one here before a violet is French ultramarine or ultramarine blue. They are right next to each other. Hmm. I think I'll keep this nearby. Didn't I have... Okay, hang on. Am I missing something? No, it wasn't missing. It was just buried. Okay. Go. Leave that there for the moment. Go ahead and grab some water. I'm gonna need to refill this one. We'll do it later. I don't need the tape anymore. First, let's get that because we're never gonna use it. I'll let that get nice and wet. That one's kind of nice too. That's ultramarine blue. Why don't we just use it off? All right. I do love that. It's not granulating, but it's still pretty. So we'll put some of that in there, I think. And just in case we need it, we'll just do a light spritz on everything else. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to end up wetting the whole surface down. We're going to start on the top with this winter blue. So I think we'll add some, it's either ultramarine blue or French ultramarine, just a little bit as we're fading it downward. And then I think I'm going to do a tiny bit of the bossy red gold because it's such a pretty color. And then just fade that down maybe to a different type of lighter colored yellow that we've got here, but mostly thin, almost nothing. And let that be our background. I think that'll work. And especially on the bottom, because we're adding granulating paint in the mountains. So as long as the bottom part is not really so much granulating paint, I don't think there will be any like mismatch. Yeah, so put it down and try it. And try and turn. All right, let me even it out. Nice. A little more. We're not really wet for granulating paints, so they move around, hopefully. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. So weird. Well, and and To see. Even Living. Even other I don't like it. I need to do it again. Must be away. She don't have a lot to say, but there's something about that. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try again. Kiss the girl. You know you let her. Look at her, you know you do. There's what they want you to. But there's one way to ask her. It don't take a word, not a single word. Go on and kiss the girl. Is the girl. And the neck is incredibly sick as Gustav. Prefer to pure parable. I was too early for her to be on. My way to the castle. This my soul hurt was on her. You close it. Tears. At my hat. Okay. Yeah. Everyone can live away from you. Sure. Nothing. Oh, really? Hmm. You're getting to see phase two. uh, it didn't work out quite the way I hoped on the first pass. We'll see. How are you doing today? Telling you, man. I always have those days where sometimes things are like, wow, this worked out great. This is what I did. You play something else. It's still a little wet. I peeled it and pulled it away before it was done. I don't know what I did in the middle here. I was kind of going okay until I did that. We'll see when it totally dries and I come back to it. It's like most things. Some stuff I love immediately, and some stuff I don't love right away, right? And it's only after time passes that I come back to it and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. It's okay. You know, I'm just gonna try it again this time without being quite so heavy-handed. You did your first art stream last night? No way! Where'd you stream? Here? What? That's gotcha. That is absolutely awesome. I just followed you. I absolutely want to go back and look at the VOD. And I've been okay. Just, you know, work is work. Life is life. Yeah, things are good. I'm, you know, like I always am. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave that up to the fates. I swear next stream I'm going to do something simple. What did you do? What did you paint on? Or I say paint. I'm assuming paint. What did you do on your stream? Inspire to the inspire. There you go. Last night, hang on, let me get back to it. I have something covering it up. Last night was the first art stream. Otherwise, I've been trying to read history and stuff. but it's slow getting followers that way. I get it. I did the pencil outline for a future painting. How exciting! That's super cool. What kind of what kind of painting are you planning on doing on your streams? Or are you gonna mix between multiple types of media? I'm really curious. No matter what it is, I'm sure it's gonna be great. I wish I still had it, but I came across that cute little doodle that you made with back in the day. I won't go into details online, but let's just say I had a headache and you helped make me feel better. I don't have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it, but I remember coming across it some years ago. So, uh, I think I'll do one faint background mountain and let that dry, and then do the one big, beautiful, big mountain and stop. I think that's what I'll do. Let's figure out what our shape's going to be for that. And, I need something that can hold more water. I hate using my mop brush for that because with watercolor, it just disappears. Um, I'm planning on doing different kinds of media. I'll do pen and ink soon on that piece and then navy color. That's exciting. That's so fun. My skills are minimal. So when it comes to like considering sketching anything, it's always tracing something. Sketching something of my own always comes out hideous. Truly the only freehand thing I did. Yeah, you probably remember because you were here the other day when I was going through showing all the stuff I painted and I came across those floating islands. That's about the only thing that I've truly like freehand sketched and just doodled and went wild with it. Anything proper, that looks interesting, like anything organic or buildings or structures or anything that's got some sort of logical real world physics and depth and perspective to it, my brain cannot fully comprehend. So I have to find something I like and then trace that, and then I can kind of go from there. Doing it without, even if I tried to go from a reference directly to sketching, I'd screw it up. So I have a light box over here, and I use that whenever I want to transfer something to watercolor paper. I got my mouse in the way. Those really turned out so cute though. So don't throw out the idea. Oh, I totally won't. It's just if anything, I have to focus on things that would be more cartoony, I guess, like floaty, abstracty kind of sketches. I don't think I'll ever be able to create lifelike or realism or even adjacent to that. And I'm okay with that because that's never been my focus or desire to want to do that. But I know it's necessary sometimes to get structure down that I can kind of guide myself when I'm painting something. Otherwise, most of what I do is abstract as hell because that's about all I can get. uh, but it's cool. Like I got some neat stuff. I've got some up here that I stuck on the wall behind me now that I've got a spot for that. I did these like gourds, pumpkins, and I always look at them and I absolutely love how they came out. They're super cute. And then the higher balloon I did, that one I did sketch. I did find a really nice picture of the balloon itself, and I sketched that one down. And that helped me stay inside the lines, if you will. I was very happy with it. And of course, all my Star Trek ship things are all sketched, like traced. There's no way in hell I could recreate one of those masterpieces from scratch. Agreed. That will work best for the ones I saw, and you seem to have a good head and shoulders about this. So thank you. I try. I clearly mentally I have my ups and downs. Sometimes work and life just kind of pushes me into a headspace that's not grand, but not terrible. It could be much worse. So I try to stay upbeat. Sometimes it comes out like verbal barfing. All the garbage comes out. So I try not to do that because nobody wants to watch a depresso on stream, all the time. Trying it. Yeah, let's try not to think. Not feeling things. Yeah, let's get the all my water is dirty, but dark is going on it, so I don't think it really matters. Um let me maybe I'll use the mopper brush and I'll just go across with that. Me. It's not. I shouldn't be singing either because nobody wants to hear that. I can sing sometimes, but man, I've got to be trying. And I don't have the vocal range, uh, nor the space to let it all out. So I don't. That seems a little foolish. All right, let's get greenish. Maybe get this in the middle and water it down a little bit. All right, let's get some of this in here. And just get in there. Okay. Okay. That might do a little better. We've got some specks going on up there, but I think it'll be okay. It's supposed to be kind of background anyway. I did this and I didn't grab any additional paper towel. Let me see if I can grab one. You know, the more I do this, the more I realize I put the paper towel on the opposite side of my desk and it's hard to get to. So at some point, I might just move my paper towel holder here somewhere. I don't know where or how. Oh, let's see. Uh, haha. Yeah. Yeah. Not singing. Yeah. You know, my favorite kind of singing is the singing in the car singing where you can just let it out and nobody hears except for the person you're with. And they're doing it too, so it's actually not a bad thing. And it's loud enough that you can't really hear yourself. You know, when you feel the most like you're in harmony with the music. Drive the song. And doing the days of food. Doing things. That makes sense. I always wonder how people let themselves belt it out without being heard. Hey, come up with a car since I'm just not learning to drive. Well, no, you're good. I totally get it. I mean, I don't drive myself. My boyfriend drives, and anywhere I need to go, he takes me lovingly, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Uh, yeah, it's a good, quiet, private place with the windows shut, and you're going on the highway, and nobody else can hear you. They can see you probably, but who cares? You know, at that point, it's like your own little private little music studio. Unless you're in a house out in, you know, the boonies with nobody else around you for acres and acres, then you can let yourself go. But otherwise, if you're in an apartment like we are, you've got neighbors. So that would be weird and awkward. I couldn't imagine. But thankfully, it's just singing for fun. It's not singing for like any other reason. So who cares? A house in the boonies in a music studio is what I always thought of. Yeah, right. Because that's where you would do it if you were doing it even semi-professionally, you know. But for yourself, I mean, being in a vehicle and singing feels the most freeing to me. You get to find all the people you love singing along with that you know you can't even get close to reaching, but you try anyway. Oh, usually just serenade the neighbors? Hey, you know, if they haven't complained yet, then you're doing something right. Oh, so awesome. Gosh, how have you been? Like, seriously, like, we've known each other for a while, off and on, clearly, but we just haven't really been able to catch up. I really hope you're doing well. Seriously. I've been a great coworker and a great friend for when we first met. And that's why it's been just really nice, you know? How's life been? How's work? We have to catch up sometime. It's been too long for sure. It's true. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel like I'm boring. But in the grand scheme of things, of course, I feel like, life is just doing one thing and moving on to the next. Some people, they've got these amazing epic high notes where it's just like, oh, this spectacular thing I did, this spectacular thing happened to me, this spectacular thing, I went to this great concert, I went and saw this great site. And I'm like, I'm just trying to survive year to year, bro. My high points are like, I've made it to the next year, you know? Over here with a bunch of questions I dare not ask live. Oh, no, I get it. I mean, some stuff I'm willing to talk about. Like I can talk about like general, like work wise, for example. I'm happy talking about. I won't say like the job that I'm at on here, obviously. In private, clearly yes. Um, but the shorthand is from when you knew me. I guess I'm safe to say it because it was so long ago. People here know that I work in IT, uh, and I have for a long time. And we met while we were working IT in a call center. I'll just flat out say it. I mean, you can't get more nebulous than call center IT work. Uh, and from there, I've just progressed slowly. I did some more call center work. From there, I went to work in casinos and IT there. I worked for Bally's, Caesars Entertainment, for 3 years and change after all the call center work finished. Yeah, I worked there. I really enjoyed it. I worked just like the basic IT help desk there for like a year. And then I became what they called a market engineer, which was really just bigger IT next tier up, but market wide. So I took care of projects, any special events that needed IT equipment set up, um, things of that nature, big department moves, just orchestrating, working with contractors sometimes to be able to get big projects done, that sort of thing, interviews, all that. I worked on the World Series of Poker 1 year, set that all up. And then another thing that I was in charge of twice was the Great Gift Wrap Up, which was where all the big high roller customers that spent a lot and earn a lot of reward points could come trade those reward points in for real world objects, um, computers, puppies, even 1 year. Um, really high rollers could spend them on like boat rentals, timeshare, things of that nature. So setting up all the equipment for that was interesting, registers and all that. Uh, from there, I moved out here and got this job where I'm at now, um, working for as a point of sale admin. I started as IT service desk, and then for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing point of sale now. So finally moved up. I'm no longer receiving phone calls as part of my daily job, and it's a load off for sure. It used to be super stressful. Casinos are usually the only ones who can pay well. Yeah, yeah. I guess it depends on what you're doing. The help desk stuff was not paying great. I'm definitely making more, I made more when I moved out here and more now, but at the same time, the cost of living goes up. It has gone up year to year, so it feels almost like I'm paycheck to paycheck again. It is what it is. Holy moly, so you got up there casino. Sounds like a lot of change for a boring person. Nah, yeah. No. I mean, it's progression, you know? I have progressed because I really wanted to move out of the customer servicey roles, because you know how stressful that is, and you can only handle it for so long. It takes a special kind of person to be able to keep doing that, but I feel like it eats away your soul, after a while. And it was just eating away at mine. I just couldn't do it anymore. And at least moving to do the casino work, I was doing it for employees, which is still customers, and they still behave like customers, but we know they're managers. You know what I mean? So we've got some power and authority over them by, they very much have to behave, ultimately, is what we're saying. That's what I'm saying about it. Whereas a regular out there customer paying for a service can be a real dick to your face. And you're just like, the most you can do is hang up on them, you know? At least in, w- doing the work for employees was a lot easier to manage. And then now I just deal with the source desk that I was on, helping them with their sort of point of sale related issues that they don't know how to handle, which is really rare because we've gotten this point of sale system really stable. I'm the only point of sale admin for our team. We've never had more than one, and I am the one right now and have been for a while. We went through a major upgrade, upgraded all of our point of sale in the last couple of years. Literally the last like 2 years and change is when we brought them on board. And they're going strong. They're doing really well. So I'm really happy with it. I think I posted a picture on Facebook once with the equipment. So super cool. Yeah. No, I like it. And like for the last 10 years, it'll be 10 years in May, actually, is when I hit my 10-year work anniversary, which is the longest I've ever worked anywhere by a long shot. And we've been living out here in the Seattle area all that time. And aside from how expensive real estate, like living expenses are out here, the area is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful and wonderful out here. So I really like it. I'm just going to kind of make myself a line for where the water is going to end up going for this. I'm just one really big chunky ass mountain. What would be nice someday, which I highly doubt and do not expect, would be to get better and better year to year at this and turn this into something. Like, I'm not trying for that, but boy, what a happy side effect that would be if I could find a way to make this do something. And again, I'm just not expecting it because people that professionally learn art are struggling and are always struggling to make ends meet. And I don't want to be that person because then it's like going from working for somebody to working for myself and stressing about not being able to manage. I don't want to do that either. So it's got to be something I can do to the side along with this, like along with my real job. And then if something takes off, something takes off. But I don't ever want to be looking for that thing to occur. If it happens, I want to be aware, cognizant of it even. So we'll see. Oh, I absolutely do know. And after when we were working, my trajectory was a real roller coaster. I had one job at the top, one of the top I cannot talk, one of the top tech companies for a brief bit, but it was way stressful. I'm so sorry. I believe that. So I moved to the Midwest and got in-person jobs for a while. After the pandemic, I switched to remote work for a few years, and sure enough, it was back in customer service. Oof, I'm so sorry. You know, I always fear going backwards. Like, I know it's a very real possibility. I think it's amazing that you were able to do that and you are still some semblance of sane, right? I don't want that. Like, I know it's a very real possibility can happen. So I try to mind my P's and Q's, you know? I'm lucky in a way that where I'm at, it's pretty stable. I haven't built anything to fail to require me. I just am here because, you know, things fail because things fail. And projects happen to upgrade things all the time. So I have to be here for that. And without that, it just seems silly. I'm sure something is around the corner, for you that will do what you want. It's it's always out there. I don't know when, I don't know how. It might not be what you expect, but I'm sure it'll work out. Alas, I've not been feeling well for a few months. I'm actually on leave currently. That's part of why I got into streaming, believe it or not. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it, well, I don't want to talk about too much, but we'll just leave it at that. And if you're comfortable, we can talk more sometime. Um, but I think streaming is a great idea. At the very least, it's a good like release. For me, I started it entirely as a method to make myself paint more often. And I started like 2 years ago. Ironically, during that point of sale project I was talking about a minute ago, um, I was starting to get very like the most stressed I've been in my life. It was becoming too much. I was stressing out to know just I was in a bad way. I needed something to help me de-stress, and I came across watercoloring. Jenna Rainey, a lady that does floral watercolors. I watched her YouTube channel for a while and was like looking at the basics, and I was like, let's give it a shot. So I got some supplies, some very basic ones. Very quickly realized I needed something a little bit better than the most basic. So I went up just a little bit in quality of material and really enjoyed that. And I've just been kind of steadily doing a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm not pushing myself. I'm not trying to become a grandmaster. I'm not trying to be a professional. I'm not trying to go to school to learn how to do any of this. I'm I'm seeing things I like. I try to learn how to replicate it and learn the techniques by doing rather than book learning. And I'm not trying to rush or force the process. I'm just enjoying doing what I'm doing when I do it. And yes, it's going to be a slow learning process, but it's by design. I don't want to learn quickly. If I wanted to learn quickly, I would go to an art school or something and become embroiled in debt. And I don't want that either, you know? So I am very happy, at least doing what I'm doing because there's no pressure, right? I'm not doing it to survive. I'm doing it as a means of making myself at, at most or least twice a week paint. It's like the purpose is just to make myself do the work. And I'm very thankful for that because it has been working for me. All right. I think that's good. Did I have any good granulating brown ones? I have yellow ochre. I think just the Quin Deep Gold. No, I don't think it does. Quin, hello. Where is it? Oh, Quin Deep Gold is not. No, Sepia is. What? Get a little brownish color in here in some spots. Just put a random color in here to see what it does. Okay. So to sit and not fuss with it. I can catch up on what you said. Oh, medical yet? Yeah. No, I get it. Since we knew each other, and you'll find this at least somewhat parallel, I have very much become diabetic. I say very much. I am at the point where I am not currently taking medication, but I probably should be, because I'm terrified of going to the doctor. Doing the best I can with what I have. Uh, and I like for years we've been eating right, uh, and just trying to maintain through diet. So I'm just trying to keep it where it is. But clearly, at some points, I have to get up off my ass and do the doctor thing. I will. I will. It's just can't be afraid of that. It's also a huge part of it is desiring not to spend all of our money on doctors and then being consistently forever in debt. I can understand not wanting to deal with the doctor, but at least you're doing good with the diet and some movement and stress relief. Exactly. See, I'm trying to meet it. I'm not expecting to blast it out of the water and just decimate the diabetes. It's not happening. You know, Literally all the signs are here that it's here to stay. But I could be lucky and it could be here to stay as it is and not progress. But the best way to do that, I know, is going to be to go to the doctor and talk to them about it and see what medication I might need and all that. And maybe it can do even more good. We'll see. Let's try this off. Yeah, I like how this one came out. Uh, Eventually, and Having a solid baseline understanding of where you're at can be useful, of course. Good diet and exercise can make a big difference, though. Exercise, tell me about it. I need that. When I first moved to the Midwest, the first doctor I saw didn't even believe I was diabetic because of the way I ate and don't eat, and didn't even prescribe me the medicine. Really? Oh, that's not a good doctor. That just goes off of like your word. Like I would imagine there's. I don't even understand. I don't even get that. Why would they behave that way? What doctor worth their salt would just assume you're lying about being diabetic? That's ridiculous. Goodness. Well, you did say the first doctor, so clearly that means that they did not remain your primary. So that's just silly. Wow. People. All I can say are people are stupid. And doctors can be just as stupid. Right, how big is this one? That might be all right. I didn't put I have these little marks where I made a mistake, so I'm gonna do a little bird. There's another one here. Have a couple birds on there, because why not? Let's hang one here. Let's do the baby bird. It'll just be like, it looks kind of like a line. There we go. No, he wasn't necessarily a good doctor, but he took one single test on the glucometer, I don't know how to say it. Checked my A1C, was 5.5, and since it was under 6, 6.4 is the diabetes line, he was like, "You aren't diabetic," and didn't prescribe my meds. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, it's a good thing that your numbers were low. It just means that you were managing it, you know? I mean, that's a real thing. Wow, I just don't get that. Yeah, see, I'm afraid to even go check any of that stuff because I'm sure I know it's gonna be terrible. I know with the glucose tester has not been kind to me, but yeah, I'll go do something about it. And I'm not feeling bad, but that can change. I think I'm done. I'm beat. Right. And so why he didn't understand that a person could be in remission, who knows, right? Asinine. Well, there's someone else's problem now, so you don't have to worry about that. It's crazy though. This turned out great. Thank you. Yeah. I think I need to shade it with the dryer a little bit more because I can see some ripples. So the paper underneath is still pretty wet. And then I can peel it and then it'll be good. It's obviously not grand luxurious, but I love how the texture came out. Pull it up and show it a little closer here in a second. Right off. Now I'm going to turn this light off over here. Man, that really changed the light here, doesn't it? You don't keep that on. Yeah, I guess I need that light. Ah, well, keep on. Not only love is what I'd be without you. All right. It's turned out great. Thank you. One light can make a huge difference. That's for sure. No kidding. I don't know. So when I first started, I was set up behind me. So where we are right now, I have my desk is on the outside of the room. Where I was before, to my left, there was a gap, and that's where I put my light source. Now, my light source is over here. And because of that, with this little side light off, it's not as lit as it normally is. It's not lit. And I only had this light over here to be able to see puddles of water because I can't see them straight down without a light on the other side of me. But I may need to have that light on more often, or I just have to set the like brightness up more, which I can do. Let me look at that really quick because I'd like to not have to have that light in front of me on sometimes. Let's see. Resume image. Blip, blip, blip. Was it exposure? It is exposure. Is it going to be worse? No, it's not bad. Yeah, that's all right. It's a little bright over here, but this area looks a little better now, I think, and not too far off from what it actually looks like. Ta-da! Yeah, camera controls, baby. All right. So let's peel this and take a look at it. It's clearly when it's really wet, it likes to get under this tape unless I really tamp it down hard. And even then, sometimes it doesn't play nice. So let's see. You can already see some got underneath it. And I didn't really push down hard on the tape, and it's amazing how much that matters. It did a little bit, but honestly, stage rosemary. Yeah, it's still wet. Let's hit it again. There you go. Clearly it needs more time to dry, and it will just sitting. But yeah, it came out really nice. I love granulating paints are awesome. Yeah, man, it's still wet. You can see the ripples in it really bad. But man, come on, focus, focus. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Not so much in the green, but up here, yeah, nice. This little guy in the background is just like back there. The edges are kind of neat. It did, on Monday, I did this. I found all of my granulating paints. I ignore this blob on the top, but I tested, lightly tested, all of my supposedly granulating paints to see just how granulating they were, mostly with little droplets going into puddles of water. And they worked out really nicely. They did all of that design on their own. Some did a lot, some didn't. That lunar black, that one always is just powerful. So yeah, I want to keep playing with granulating paints to see what they can do. I have to say, after letting it dry, the granulation on the first one looks better. I mean, the overall image is like, whatever, but Focus. There we go. Yeah, that one. Just how neat is that? So, yeah. So not bad. Wow, it came out like the foliage from afar. Thank you. Yeah, I said it's not bad. It's good for distance. I clearly want to keep playing with granulating paints, but I have to move on, obviously, to other stuff. Why am I saying that? It's self-inflicted. I can do whatever the hell I want. Maybe I'll play more with granulation and just see what I can do. What I'd really like to do is do a entire nebula using nothing but granulating paints. So that would be interesting to see how that comes out. Just the texture for a space scene. Oh yeah, you can even see that it's wet underneath it. That's funny. Yeah, I just need to let it fully dry. In fact, I'm going to put it underneath this. As it's drying, it should flatten out a little more. I'll put this on top, weigh it down with that, and a plate, and another plate. Stay there. Heck yeah. That'll be way cool to see. I think so too. I love doing nebula type stuff. I think it'll work really well. There's one in front of me I can show. I say this. Let me take down some of the magnets holding this up and see how well this comes down off the wall. Whoa. Well, that was a thing. Neodymium magnets. You do what they want. There we go. I'll put that back later. Yeah, this one that I tested right after I got these paints. That one, I love how the lunar black and lunar blue made all those tendrils in that one. So I definitely want to see how nebulas work out. I think they'll do really, really well with granulating paints. I just love that look. So if I can figure out how to recreate that, and that was salt. That was, I don't know what, just a mixture of random bullshit. But this one, yeah, I like that one. So yeah, I'll play with that some more. I'll figure out how to put this back up on the wall. I just have to separate these magnets. That's a good and a bad thing about neodymium magnets is they are a bitch to attach to each other. Yeah, that looks great with the veins in the clouds, right? I think it looks absolutely stunning. So I will for sure. Can I put this here? Oh, that's not magnetic? Hey. It's fake. It's a fake. Okay. Okay, so that can't stick it to that. Ooh, that sticks to that way too hard. Okay, I'm just gonna leave these loose and all over the place. And I'm gonna put that back up on the wall. I will do that in a minute. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop for the day and then try to come up with a good idea for Monday. Oh, I just dropped that one on it. Try to come up with a good idea for Monday. I don't know what yet. Sometimes I plan ahead. Most of the times, though, I plan during the course of the day, and then I rush to figure out something. Go ahead and clean off my brush. And yeah, quit jibber jabbering, Brian. Okay, I'm gonna go. New Star Trek, Starfleet Academy episode is out, so I have to go get that. I can watch that today. So I'm gonna head on out. Frisky, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me. You have a absolutely beautiful rest of your day and a great rest of your week. I will see you back on Monday. And that's it for me. I'm gonna head out. Have a good night. Goodbye. 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 Bye. Bye. Bye.